I don't know why it just moved the thing. I just moved it. Come on, Apple. It should just work. So I got through with my task list, I guess, for the night, and so I'm free to have nobody watch me on the internet since Google has very cruelly and anti-Semitically refused to let me promote my videos, which maybe is for the best. I'm thinking of posting this stuff to Blue Sky just because I want some fucking leftist to try to kill me. I mean, they're literally on there making lists of Zionists. It's so bad, right? It's so bad, And the left, I'm sorry, has done a horrible job, and Jewish women. So yeah, it's part of my task list. Is I got done with shit, chores tonight. We'll see. We'll see if the oven finishes or the dryer finishes or what the fuck. So, feminism, which I support women's emancipation. I believe in women's rights and such. Like, rights are kind of bullshit, right? Like, oh, the rights of man, the universal rights of man or woman or human, the human rights, and it's like everybody wants to have their theoretical basis of why it's true, and it's not. We make it up. We want it to be true. Those of us from particular cultures, many other places don't really believe in it. There's a wonderful piece in the New York Times about the way the Saudi Arabians are treating their domestic workers that they import from Africa. That's the way it's the way so many people historically have treated each other. And there hasn't been, because before internal combustion, there was just slaves, right? Before internal combustion, we used to, instead of feeding gasoline to cars, we fed grain to slaves who grew grain. Now we use fossil fuels to extract more fossil fuels. Back we used to use grain to grow more grain. And, eventually we'd hit the Malthusian limit and people would die. But, I guess one of the different places would be like feudal Europe. I guess the lack of slavery there is notable and, respectable. But human rights are not this like really clear, obvious thing that people want to think they are, and I'm all for it. I'm all for like the game theoretic aspect of liberal society. We all treat each other as individuals, and we all have our rights, and we all respect each other's rights, and it creates a nice kind of Nash equilibrium where, hey, if we start saying people don't have rights and that other people's rights don't matter, well, they can say that our rights don't matter, and then where are we going to be, right? And one of the problems with the left is that they've really just completely fucking ignored this. There's been this process of normalizing deviance these many years, and feminism in a large way has been ground zero because it's always had so much man hatred in it. Hey, the oven's done. It's always had so much man hatred in it, right? There's always been this really, really strong hatred of men that's a core part of the women's movement. And because leftists have said, "Oh no, 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 this is fine, this is okay," it's just believe in equality. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry. It's like, right. And then you make excuses for, fist people. The fist people, what I call the fist people, right? Whether it's Otzma Yehudit in Israel, like the Kachist Jewish Power Party, or, the Black Panthers and these other left-wing groups, right? You make excuses for these people who are fucking bigots. And you get to this point, the algorithm threw something up into my brain space, which, this whole idea of racism is power plus privilege. Okay, and it's like, well, nah, like it's hating people because of their race. That's racism. It's hating people because of their race, and then you get like social like policies right? And you can talk about environmental racism and things like that, and these things end up, kind of being tendentious. It's an attempt to push the thing out because it does political work for you, right? But it's hateful. It's hateful. You're making excuses for hate, right? That's the whole point of racism, is power plus privilege. Is to say, well, the black people don't have power, so they can't be racist. And it's like, the women don't have power, so it can't be sexist, right? And all these excuses and the normalization of deviance that over time has snowballed into a culture that a lot of people in this country really simply find horrifying, horribly bigoted, horribly, narcissistic, where they're just not willing to take responsibility for the hatefulness, the massive level of hatefulness, right? The excuses for hating Jews, the excuses for hating men. And, the hating the Jews has been like at the end of the train at this point. It's not like that old Holocaust poem where, first they came for the communists, and then they came for the trade unionists, and then they came for the Jews, and then they came for the whoever, and then whoever, and then whoever, and then they came for me, right? Now, Jews are at the end of that stream of coming for, okay? And they're finally coming for us, and now we're pissed. But the reason why they've come for it, right? They came for white people, they came for men, they came for conservatives, they came for, Christian conservatives, they came for cis people, they came for people who said things that were cancelable, they came for so many Karens, they came for the Karens. Right? They came for the Karens before they came for the Jews. And finally, they're coming for the Jews. And the Jews are like, oh my God. But the Jews, I'm sorry, so many Jewish feminists, so many Jews who are like, hey, it's okay. These are okay people to go after. Right? So many steps down the motherfucking line. And we were like, hey, but they're the bad guys, right? I mean, race is they're the privileged ones, so it's okay to go after them. And that basic lack of ethics, this core, really, really, really discrediting lack of ethics that we've displayed over the years. In first letting the feminists lead the way in making bigotry okay. So that's kind of where we're at, right? What was the fucking point? I need to put my pizza in. And it's just it's been bad, right? It's been bad. People on the left have normalized an enormous amount of deviance. There's been an enormous amount of saying that bigotry is okay and having a complete lack of ethics about this sort of thing, about the basic individualism, the basic idea of universal rights. And in practice, people on the left have just been like, well, but some people are oppressed. So, they don't need to worry. They don't need to share our ethics, right? Oppressed people don't need to have ethics. This has been a core left-wing idea. And it's so cancerous, like very literally cancerous. Like it grows. It lets people make excuses and excuses and excuses for all this nastiness. And now we're at this place where, the left can't win. The left can't win. Right? Chuck Schumer is forced to cancel his book tour. And it's because he's a moderate and, didn't shut down the government. But really, we all know, right? It's a book tour about anti-Semitism. We all know. We all know what's going on with the left. The leftists, a lot of people on the left, are still very deeply in denial, and that's kind of my target audience, right? It's why Google is censoring me. You know, I'm trying to get people to understand these currents in left-wing culture and how problematic they've been, how problematic they are. I don't know. Well, I'm past 10 minutes. I guess that's some sort of YouTube marker. I need to put my pizza in. So good luck, motherfuckers.